And welcome guys. Now in the last video I explained almost all of the amulets that you can obtain in Gemcraft Labyrinth. I've really got to remember to stop scrolling like that and scroll in the game. Whoops. Okay, I explained battle amulets, novice amulets, whatever, and journey amulets. I discovered strategies on how to obtain them, and now I'm going to describe the challenge amulets, and if I have time I'm also going to go over skill points in the game and how best to spend them, etc., what they mean, so on and so forth. Now, reach at least 70,000 mana in one battle on field D1. Now there are 20 challenge amulets in total, and they are obtainable on the map. It's a bit hard to see, but as I hover my mouse over this little crystal ball looking thing, ignore the numbers and the white bars. If you can look at the background of the squares, some of the squares have sort of a pinky red tinge background to them. Those are the levels where a challenge amulet applies, and there are 20 of them. And they can vary a little bit. See, for instance, when you hover over it, hover over these fields to get their information. One with the battle amulet will have this brown right here. 1 second, I'm just going to change opacity to something a lot higher. Now we can see, looking at that square, brown writing near the bottom of this square, kill at least 7,000 monsters in one battle on field C11. You have obtained a challenge amulet. It won't say that if you haven't got it, obviously, but yeah, that will be there to notify you that there is a challenge amulet for this field. Let's change that down to something a little bit more friendly. I'll just go through the different types you can get. Some are similar. There are a few different types though. Reach at least 70,000 mana in one battle on field D1. 80,000 on D3. That's a different one. So these two are similar. Basically, you have to have 80,000 mana available on that field at any one time. And you have to complete the level as well. Once you've achieved it, you will get the battle amulet. You can only get it once. And there's quite a lot of experience and skill points available for all of that. I think you get 7 points, skill points for every single one of them. It looks like you do. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, 7 skill points, but the experience points vary. So D1, I'd rather go to D3 and get 18,000 than 10,000 experience. Look, for the most part with all of these, you can do these. Pardon me. You can obtain these battle amulets without, well, you can obtain a lot of them without having the premium version, but you will have to be fairly far along the journey of the game to be able to go for these, because the numbers are quite large, and at the end of the day, it looks like a lot of experience points and skill points, but it isn't really that much. It won't make much of a dent, because as you grow higher and higher in levels, to obtain the next wizard level, to obtain more skill points and stuff, the amount of experience required increases between levels, every level, and by the time you get these, it's not going to be that significant. It'll help a little bit. It's more just to show that you've done it. It's just another challenge that you can try in the game, is to get all of these. It's a bit fun. Let's see, the next one. Create a gem with a maximum raw damage of at least 1,000 without amplifiers or bloodbound on field M2. Now there's a couple like this. There's one there, maximum damage of at least 1,200. Yeah. These two, very similar. What it means is maximum damage. You know how each gem has a minimum to a maximum damage. You know, a smaller number, then a dash, and a larger number. The larger number is the maximum damage that a gem can do. Now, you can increase that without changing the gem if it has bloodbound as one of its three major components, or two major components, or its component is Bloodbound, that can increase because Bloodbound gives initial damage for the kills and so forth. And you can also change the maximum damage of any gem by putting an amplifier with gems in it next to it. So those change from the raw damage. So you don't see the raw damage, you see the modified, the extra damage, and so forth. That's not to say that you have to do these levels and try and obtain these amulets without using Bloodbound or amplifiers on a gem that you intend to do this challenge with. You can still obtain for instance, you can, where is it? Let's see, I6 or M2. We'll do I6. I'll just show you quickly. I6. Okay. Let's just. I know I've obtained the amulet already, but I'll just show you what I mean. Now, I6, basically what it means, it will get rid of that first. There we go, it does have Bloodbound in it. So, basically, we could do something like this. Place our tower here, amplifiers and so forth. Why not? Let's see. Da, 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 da. Whoops. Oh, I've made a mistake already. Let's get rid of that and that. Chuck that in there. Sorry guys, it's been a while since I've played this version of Gemcraft with everything jacked right up and stuff. Just bear with me for a second. Now, what I've done here is I've got a gem surrounded with amplifiers, and it's also got a Bloodbound component to it. Now, without the amplifiers, notice how the damage is much smaller, 337 to 872. Okay, the minimum damage with all the amplifiers surrounding it and so forth is much higher. So basically, it's not showing you the raw damage. It is at the moment because I've got no kills. So the Bloodbound has not been activated yet. It's active, it's just not doing anything because it's got nothing to use it with. So basically what I need to do is I need to get that maximum damage up to, and there you go. Well, actually, I've just done it. For this field, it was above 1,200. That action alone, if I beat this level, which I'll probably take a long time to do because it's going to be all giants and it's going to be an endurance level, so endurance run, which is 1,337. I'm not going to show you. But basically, if I beat the level with this gem like that, then I've won. I've got that amulet. In fact, that was probably a really bad example, but if you get what I'm trying to say here, if it was a gem like this, let's see, a gem like this, if we upgrade it a lot, let's get rid of all of these. Basically, you need a gem that does something like this. There you go, that would also gain it. That is actually a raw damage as well of 556, maximum raw damage 1,215. I need 1,200. If you get a gem like that at any time in the map, then it would be fine. And also, if it has amplifiers and so forth, and the number is much greater, so long as if you have a gem where it has no amplifiers around it and so forth, and if it doesn't have Bloodbound, or if it does have Bloodbound and you do the maths and you take away whatever it is that you would have gained, and you still end up with a maximum damage higher than the number required for the not the amplifier, the amulet, then you've got the amulet. That's all that's required. Do that, beat the level as well. Very important, you can't get the amulet without beating the level. And yeah, you've got the amulet. So that's that explained. If you have any questions, guys, by all means ask me. Just comment. Don't be shy. 1,000 for that level, 1,200 for that level. it won't be anywhere near as easy as that because I'm wizard level bloody 6,000 or something ridiculously high. You guys will probably have much lower wizard levels when you first attempt that, so that's actually not easy to do. But if you keep plugging away, eventually you'll get it. Now, highest value reached so far, maximum level of 180 million. That's because I did an endurance run on it. It's just ignore that number. It seems massive, mind-boggling. Like, how did you do that? I'll show you in another video, okay? This video is all about these amulets. Moving on. Deal at least 1 million damage in one battle on field E2. That's not very hard. E2. Deal a lot of damage. Well, that's very easy. Just jack up your settings. Jack up amount of monsters, monster hit points, wave composition. Swarms give very little. Armored, so I'd recommend armored, or these. Any of these three will probably be fine because they will generate lots of monsters with lots and lots and lots of hit points. And it's all about the total damage that you've done. So do 1 million hit point damage all up, and you will obtain the amulet. Probably have to do it with a lot of waves. How many waves are there? So 58 waves of giants only. 58 waves, an average giant will be. Yeah, you'll easily, if you put it on these settings. These don't actually make any. You can try and get the amulet without any of these. These won't affect it. At the end of the day, you're just going for damage here, so none of these will help you. Sometimes with the amulets, you just got to focus your game a little bit. Don't go for maximum in XP. Just go for what is required to finish the amulet. Something you do need to think about sometimes when you're going for those amulets that are just hard to get. Okay? Don't be shy. Just do it. All you need to do is get the amulet, and then you can go back to your usual program of trying to get as much experience as possible. At this point, most hit points, so either that or that. Probably that, just to make the game a little bit shorter. Giants only, or giants every second wave, or even armored, because armored units have a lot more hit points as well as a lot more armor. Yeah, do it like that. This probably won't get you very far. You'll probably have to buy the game to get these, unlock these settings to get the amulet actually. So there's an amulet that would be very hard to get without purchasing the game, probably impossible. But that's how you would do that. Let's see. Million damage. 1.5 million damage on M5. Same deal. One in one go. Just do those settings. Same with that one. 2 million. Reach 100 waves beaten on field K1 now. There are quite a few. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different fields with this. You cannot do this unless you've got endurance. And endurance you can only get as a field setting if you buy the game. So you have to buy the game to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 challenge amulets. And I really do need to stop scrolling with the mouse wheel. So there you go. That's pretty self-explanatory. Reach 100 waves beaten, not just 100 waves. You can't just keep sending waves and sending and sending and sending and then send the 100th and expect to get the amulet. This game expects you to kill all of the monsters in all of the 100 waves or more before you can get the amulet, and you still have to beat the level. So essentially, to beat an endurance level early, what you would do is you would beat 100 waves worth of monsters, maybe 101 just to be sure that you haven't missed a stray monster. Wait for the amulet to pop up. I'm not sure if challenge amulets pop up in the top left corner when you achieve them like battle amulets do. I don't think they do. And I think journey amulets are the same. They don't pop up in the left corner, so it's really a matter of you have to be sure you've got it. You're going to get it before you end the level, but when you do, just get 3 or 5 grade 1 gems in your inventory and just waste them all on your orb. In endurance mode, you can finish an endurance level early if you gem bomb your monster orb thing where all the monsters try to get to. Gem bomb it. I think it's 3 times, and it'll end legitimately, and you will finish with your 100 waves beaten, and you will get the challenge amulets for all 6 levels. That's that explained. Now, kill at least 7,000 monsters in one battle on field I2. Same deal for A4, same deal for M7, E8, L9, C11, and K12. Okay, so another 6 levels, all the same deal essentially. Kill 7,000 monsters in one battle. That's not very hard if you're doing something like swarms or even an endurance run. If you complete an endurance run, which is 1,337 levels, or waves if you will, then you will definitely kill over 7,000 monsters just doing that. But if you don't do endurance, if you just do 20 plus waves of, here, I'll show you what I mean. Actually, let's find one of the levels. Let's see, K12. That's easy. K12. There he is. So what I would do is amount of monsters. You're going for number of monsters to get. So max that out. Make the minimum for the hit points. Wave composition. Swarms. Number of waves 20. Don't check any of these. This would be the easiest way in these settings to complete this level and get that amulet. You just want to kill 7,000 monsters. And remember, you can also, I'll get rid of that and I'll load myself up with these. Look at the number of monsters. They're going up and up and up and up and up. Sure, you've got to be very careful when you do this, because now I've just, let's see, hit points 7, armor level 0 for level 2. Hit points 1,161, armor level 1,784. Be very careful when you're angering monsters, but look, if you need a lot of monsters for these for the purposes of getting amulets like this, you can anger waves just to get a little bit more going. Having said that, I probably didn't have to do any. You probably, without angering any monsters at all, you could pass this level just by killing all of the monsters. I mean, look, you've got, with these settings, an average of about almost 200 monsters every wave. An average of about 180, I think. So, with that in mind, let's see, you would probably have to do about 40 waves, and there's 44 waves. So, in these settings, I'm pretty confident you will get the amulet without doing any gem bombing of your waves. Just do your usual setup with beating swarm levels, which is essentially lots of traps and a very winding, long sort of track for them to go along, or lots of towers. Probably poison in traps to help weaken them a lot, or whatever. Find your own way, do the swarms, you will beat this, and you will get the amulet for all 6 of them. Same deal. And that is the amulets explained. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain these, actually. I'm not sure I don't think I have explained battle settings. I don't think I have, so I'll explain them now. Basically, when you don't buy the game and you're just playing the free version, this setting is the maximum setting you can do. Double the amount of monsters, double the amount of hit points per monster. Wave composition is armored only. Armored only monsters. Number of waves, add 15 onto it, so this would have 65 waves, this particular level. Banishment cost extra increase. Banished monsters, faster monsters, higher monster armor, and this will give you a multiplier of 6.52. Now, that's all nice and well, and you can trundle along getting probably scores of around, on average, about 6, 7, 8,000 per level, and that's nice. But if you buy the game, you'll be able to unlock all of these. Except for this one. You only unlock this one if you buy the game, and if you, I think if you beat the last level. If you beat, what is it? babies. What's 13? So level I'll just show you this one. G7, that's the one. If you beat this level, regardless of whether or not you've beaten all of the other ones, if you beat this level, then in the battle settings you can do Shadow Clash. I don't mind this. This is because it's an epic field. It's an automatic sort of endurance map, but having said that, all epic fields, even though they just continue sending wave after wave after wave, they don't, how can I put this? They don't score at the end of the level. They don't calculate experience the same way as if you did another level, a normal level on endurance mode. They score the same way as if you had them on just any other mode, so it's kind of weird. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Where was I? Actually, yeah, I'll get back here. So yeah, this is the best setting you can do for the free version, and this seems to be the best setting as far as getting experience is concerned. It's massive. It's like 15 times the amount of score you could possibly get. It is much harder. It's just amount of monsters is 4 times instead of 2. Monster hit points instead of 2 times is 10 times. That makes it a lot harder. There is a massive difference between doing these two. That's something to keep in mind if you're struggling. Dial this back. If you're also struggling, if you're using Bloodbound but you're struggling to make your gem become really powerful really early on in the game, dial this back to giants every second wave. That way you can pump up a lot of giants for a lot of mana points and so forth by killing them, but you can also get a lot of normal waves going through, or you know, swarm waves as well, which will help just increase the number of kills of your gem very quickly. And while on the face of it, it seems that this is the best way to get experience, strangely enough, this is the way to get the most experience out of any level, doing an endurance level, because endurance is not calculated. It doesn't calculate the experience you get at the end of the level the same way as if any other type, whether it be normal up to 20 plus waves. Essentially, when you do a level like this, actually, I'll explain that another day, but let's just say endurance, even though the number looks different, it's much bigger because you beat a lot more waves, and the overall at the end of the battle, your experience is just multiplied in a massive way, which is why I've got scores like this: 107, 106. There's one here that's 120 something, or 119, or something like that. So yeah, I've got a lot of levels where the scores, here we go, 120 million. You cannot get a score even remotely close to that off of endurance. So anyways, that is these explained, and Shadow Clash, they're all fairly explanatory, self-explanatory, except for endurance. I have to explain 1,337 levels. It's supposed to be on and on and on and on forever, but it does have a limit. You can opt out for it early by gem bombing your end tower, your orb, your wizard orb, which is where the monsters go. So you can beat an endurance early, or you can just keep going until you die, which is the most common way to go. Which, even though you lose, you still kind of win and you still get the experience and so forth. So you don't lose anything by playing endurance mode. You can just play and play and play as far into the levels as you can until you lose. Now, having said that, it will only count the number of waves that you completely destroyed. You can't just go ahead and keep on sending waves and waves and waves and waves and expending a massive score in a cheesy way. It doesn't work like that. You have to destroy all of the monsters in a particular wave for that wave to count towards the multiplication of your experience at the end of the level. Okay, so very important. You have to play it fairly legitly. But endurance, got nothing to lose, just give it a shot. Waves getting tougher faster is a very, very difficult setting. It just levels at the very first wave is the same. The second wave is a little bit tougher. It essentially makes waves as they keep coming along. The further down the waves you get, the more tougher they become, both with hit points and armor. They get tougher exponentially. Actually, it becomes ridiculously hard, ridiculously quick. So don't check this option if you find yourself losing a lot. Just take the hit, get rid of that it's a big multiplier and it sucks, but it's big for a reason. It basically just, if you're struggling, turn that off. And Shadow Clash, that just gives you a shadow in the map. Probably about 2-3 minutes into gameplay, a shadow will appear and you just have to defeat it. That's can be hard at first, but once you find yourself being able to get yourself a gem in a tower with a few amplifiers around it and it's level 8 or 9, I think a level 10 gem or a level 11 gem even will have no problems killing a shadow very quickly. Other than that, you're going to need a very powerful gem, maybe with Bloodbound or something with a lot of damage, because shadows have a ridiculous amount of armor. I think it's 500 armor, so you only have to kill one per battle. If you can kill it, just check that and then you'll get your extra 24% multiplier. It's pretty good, pretty easy. Now, this video has dragged on a lot longer than I wanted it to, so I'm going to end it here, and next video I'm going to talk about skills. Okay? Have fun. See you next video.